Hello, I'm Debs K. Thanks so much for joining me this week and welcome to my little studio. Okay, so thought we'd do another little snowy scene as we're still kind of in January and, you only get a chance to do it a couple of times a year. So thought we'd go down here and we're going for a walk in the snow. So we're going to be painting this little painting here. Now it's only a little 9x7 painted on Fisher 400 sanded paper. Took me a little while, but and it's a painting of lots and lots of layers and sort of adding snow, and just wanted to capture that feeling of going off on a nice winter's walk. So let's have a look at the colours I chose and let's get painting. Okay, first things first, let's have a look at what I used to create this painting. Obviously, as I always do, picked out these initially from my, larger palette. I'm pretty sure I didn't use all of them. But as you can see, I'm going for the sort of purples, teals, and things like that. Couple of pencils there, which I did utilise, but not absolutely essential. But obviously, you can pause the videos there and have a little look at those, and choose, if you like a similar sort of look, choose similar colours from your own palette. Okay, so let's get painting. So you're coming in now just as I'm finishing off with my pastel pencil. If you've watched me before, you know that I just feel a little bit more comfortable with a pastel pencil to get those basics in. But obviously, you can come straight on in with your hard pastels at this stage. But I'm going to be doing a wet underpainting on this. And I wanted to keep the underpainting really simple. So basically, I've just chosen 4 different values three different values with 5 different colours. So I've chosen the first one I've done is this deep dark purple. Then I've come in with a more violetty colour there, coming in there in those mid-tone places with that sort of lovely lilac-y colour. And then I'm going to be using a lighter pink here for the sky and an even lighter version for the snow. So really simple colour palette. In hindsight, I think I could have come in with a darker value. I think I could, if I'd put a blue in that front tree, because I end up going around the houses, which you'll see a little bit later, just because of the amount of pastel I've got on. So in hindsight, I think I'll go one value darker as well. Okay, so rubbing it all in, and now I'm coming in with just a bit of water in my pot and Kitty's paintbrush, and I'm sort of setting that into the paper. Started off with my lightest tones first, because obviously as soon as you get that brush back in your water or alcohol, if you're using alcohol, which you certainly can do, you're going to be pulling the paint back in there. So start off with your lightest in that area. And now what I'm doing is I'm, just going around, just trying to get the feel with my wet paintbrush of the different areas, sort of like mottly in the bush to the right and more spiky to the tree in the front. And that's really what I'm doing, using my pastel or using my paintbrush just again to give me that base to start me off. So there we go, got the underpainting. I did let that dry, and now I'm coming back in with my darkest values first. Started off with a really deep dark blue, and then sort of putting a few different colours, a purple and a sort of motley green in my dark area over there to the right hand side. And then this sort of front bush to the left, it's more reddy in its feel. And I'm going to exaggerate the colours a little bit on this. I don't know whether Sandy actually tinkered with the photo to begin with, but I love the colours, so pretty. My favourite sort of colour combinations. I love blues and teals and purples together. So as you can see, that's literally what I'm doing in any one area. Usually I'm using a couple of different values and a couple of different colours just to make each area look a little bit more interesting. And so now, as I got my main darks in place, you saw I came back in there, put a few branches in, tree trunks, just to give myself an indication of where I'm going. Now, coming back up the value scale now into that sort of like distant trees and things there. And you'll notice I'm using sort of more greyed out colours there, a little bit more muted. That's going to help us sort of create distance. Remember, everything in the distance will be slightly muted, out of focus. And as you come forward, your colours tend to usually get brighter, a little bit more vivid, a little bit more chroma in. But using softer, muted colours towards the rear of the painting really will help you. Sort of blues and violets and things like that are really, really helpful, but greyed out versions of. So now you can see me coming around, adding a little bit more detail, putting, getting those tree trunks back in, basically just sort of reaffirming what I did, adding a little bit more detail, getting, as I say, a few of the tree trunks, few branches, a little bit of an idea as to the way things are lying. And you see every now and again, I am coming back in with my sort of sponge to blend it in. Still want to keep things sort of out of focus at the moment and just give myself a good base of colour on there. And now I'm coming back in with my pot of water, and really what I'm doing is I'm setting in those trees once again. Now, you don't need to do this, you can sort of stick with your pastels. I just like to do this because it gives me the opportunity to be able to get more pastel on the top. Obviously, it sets it straight back in. And also it gives me a variety of different colours going on in the background. So I can pull some trees out, push some back and things like that. As I say, not absolutely essential, but I just find it really helpful to do it. So I'm going to let you watch this. I end up also doing the same with this bush in the front. I decided, as I mentioned earlier, got a little bit too much pastel on there, and just was a little concerned that I ended up getting too. I knew that I was going to need lots of layers, so I end up wetting that down, which unfortunately you don't get on camera. You see it change in just a second, and but basically what I've done is just wet that down again and pushed it into the paper. But as you see, before I did this, I came up the value scale some more. And now I'm looking sort of like at that tree and seeing where those sort of like the snow is starting to hit it. Oh, there we go. It changed back again. But I came up, but obviously I'm not using white. I'm using a lighter value sort of tealy green to give me the base of that. So now what you're going to do is you're going to see me sort of like basically going round again and doing the same really. Rinse and repeat, getting some more pastel on there now, and always looking at my reference photo to see where those levels of dark are, and starting off in my darkest areas again, once again re-establishing those. Like I say, this is a painting of many layers, and I did, as I say, did go around the houses a bit, especially on this front bush, but we got there in the end. Okay, so I'm going to let you watch me sort of like do another little round, and obviously if I'm doing anything different, I'll pop in and let you know. Okay, thanks so much, and I'll see you in a mo. So as you can see, I've just been going around adding a little bit more detail than I had on the last layer, adding another couple of variations of colour, helping myself build up the form of these bushes. Looking at the reference photo, I did get a little bit caught up with the reference photo on this. I could have been a lot looser, but I really enjoyed the photo, and I felt I loved doing all the layers. Again, probably could have done a few less, but I did enjoy the finished effect, apart from the fact I went a bit OTT on the branches to the left-hand side, which you'll discover later on. But apart from that, I felt it was a pretty little painting, and I enjoyed with all of these, creating all of these layers. But, it kind of gets to a point in a moment that I feel that I've got, quite a lot of pastel on there. And you'll see I've been sort of like dragging, as you might have noticed, I've been dragging the sort of sky colour down into the trees, and I've got those really lovely soft mottly colours going on there. Now, sort of just trying to break up those trees with that lighter value, bringing it down. But all the way I'm doing this, my touch is super, super light, so that my pastels are sort of skimming over the paper, and all the time I'm sort of just going backwards and forwards, pulling out certain things. At the moment, using my pastel pencil to pull out a few branches of the skinnier ones. Again, you don't need to do that. You can do this with a normal hard pastel. But again, I just keep going backwards and forwards, pulling out a little bit more detail each time, building up these layers slowly and, gently. And I love creating paintings like this. I love all the layers, and it doesn't worry me to take some time. I ended up with a bit of a learning curve on this painting, with regards to my branches and things. And as I say, maybe got a little bit too carried away with sort of getting the reference, getting fairly close to the reference. But, I did end up enjoying I enjoyed the process, and I enjoyed the final painting. And that's it. Each painting, even if it doesn't turn out to be your absolute best, you've usually learned something along the way. And I certainly did with this painting. But I really enjoyed it. So, why not have fun, learn along the way, and see what you can create. And it's really a personal thing, how much detail you want to bring out. We all enjoy looking at different things. We all enjoy different colours. We all enjoy different looks. So go crazy, whatever you feel like. But just, be a bit careful with your colours. Try, if you're using lots of colours, try and keep them within the same sort of band, so you don't end up with mud. Try and keep them to, like here, really the colour palette is sort of blues through to the pinks and things. As you can see, not introducing orange or anything like that, just trying to keep it all within a fairly narrow colour bandwidth, but using the different values to create distance and distance and form and shape. So I'm going to let you sort of like watch me carry on, going around, adding a little bit more detail as I go around. Then we're going to come back in and sprinkle a little bit of snow soon. So in the meantime, I hope you're enjoying the video. I hope you're sort of like learning something along the way, and I hope you have a go at painting it. It would be really lovely. I'll pop the reference link, the link to the reference photo down below for you if you fancy going over and downloading this and painting your own little snowy walk. So as I say, hope you're enjoying it. If you do, please do give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be really great. I'd really appreciate it. And obviously, if you'd like to watch sort of like the full-length version of this, where obviously I slow down and sort of explain a little bit more what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, then please consider popping over and joining me over on Patreon. It'd be lovely to see some of you over there. Okay, so just before I go off, I just wanted to mention I did pop in with a little bit of workable fixative. I was getting a lot of pastel on the paper, so I popped in with a little bit of workable fixative, gave it a quick spray, and then coming back in with another layer. It just gives you that little bit of extra tooth and helps you just skim over in certain places. So that's what I did. All right then, so I'll let you watch this, and I'll see you in a mo. And so I think I'm almost there now with these final details. As I say, I feel I brought those branches to the left way too far into the painting and maybe sort of got a bit carried away with those. But overall, you know, I kind of liked it. It got the feel of this lovely, delicate, you know, I really enjoyed the colours and I feel it's sort of like, it felt good in the end. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just sprinkling my little bit of final little bits of snow on there. If you don't, this obviously runs through very quickly. If you don't know how to do this technique, I'll pop the link down below for you for one of my other videos, Let's Add Some Sparkle, and you can see just exactly what I'm doing when I'm adding snow and things like that. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. As I say, do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do give me a thumbs up. Okay, I wish you a lovely week. Hope you get to do some painting, and if you do, happy painting.